Hello, 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 and welcome. All righty, so people are logging in. We will allow everybody to get in here so that we can get started. Greet me in the chat so that I may greet you back. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday afternoon. I appreciate it. Let me know that you can hear me because I was having some issues with my speaker earlier this morning. So let me know that you can hear me. Okay, Cheryl. So can you hear me though? Okay, good, 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 good. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. I don't know how many people we're going to have on this second broadcast, but I appreciate you joining me. We're going to see if we have some more people pop in, and then we will get started in just okay, so I am hopeful that everything is well on that one. I've never done a live stream from a Zoom before, but hey, let's try to see what happens. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. So here we are, ladies. We meet again. We are talking about 7 ways to improve your marriage now God's way. So thank you so much for joining me. I am Dee Johnson, founder and creator of Wife Nation, and I don't take for granted that you have decided to pop in to hear what I have to say on ways that you can begin transforming your relationship now. Just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a licensed therapist, but most importantly, I'm a wife of 15 years. Feel like we have gone through everything over the course of 15 years, everything that was supposed to tear us apart, everything that challenged the relationship, challenged our staying power, challenged us as individuals, and most importantly, challenged our relationship. There were so many times where we'd be frustrated with each other, where we couldn't communicate effectively, where we couldn't support each other or even see each other because we were so wrapped up in our disappointment with each other. We were so wrapped up in our pain with each other. We were so miserable. To be quite honest, we were miserable in our relationship. And because we've had all of that frustration, and because we had all of that pain, and because we just couldn't get it together, our marriage suffered for way too many years. Our marriage and our relationship with each other suffered for way too many years. And so I decided that something had to be done. And I decided that I was tired of crying all the time. I was tired of driving down the street in my car crying. I was tired of crying in my shower so the kids couldn't hear me. I was tired of being miserable in my marriage. I was tired of the way that our marriage had been run for that many years. It was either time to do something radical and change the course of the relationship, or it was time to end it. And so I decided that I was going to do it exactly the way God told me to do it. And I don't want you to think that once I made a decision to do it God's way, that it was easy, because it absolutely was not easy. In fact, it became even harder when I decided to do it God's way, because God expects you to humble yourself, and God expects you to follow his commands exactly the way he lays it out. And God expects you to do it the way he wants you to do it, but the flesh and your dissatisfaction wants you to do it a totally different way. And so what I'm here to do today is to give you a couple of tips, a couple of strategies, a couple of ideas on how you can begin improving your marriage right now if you will just follow it God's way. So I'm going to get right into it because I know it's the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday and you guys are ready to go and enjoy your day. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat so that I can address you. I'm live in the Facebook group and I'm also live on Zoom. So I don't know how that works in terms of me being able to see anything that you typed in the Facebook group and if I'll be able to see it. But if I see it, I'll answer it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I want you to understand when we do it God's way is that we have to stop treating temporary seasons as if they are life sentences. You have to stop treating these horrible times, these challenging times in your marriage that are just seasons. You have to stop treating them as if they are life sentences, as if things will never get any better, as if you'll never have a marriage that you want, as if your husband will never be who you want him to be, as if things will never get better, because we all know that seasons change. Now, they may stick around longer than you want them to. They may last longer. They may overstay their welcome. But we can be assured that every season changes. Right now in Houston, Texas, we are in the middle of summer. So it's 100 degrees weather with 100% humidity. We are ready for the fall. And one day the fall will arrive. And there are other people who are in other parts of the world and other parts of the country who are experiencing spring, or who are experiencing winter, or who are experiencing fall already. And one day their summer season will show up. So we have to understand that even though the season may be overstaying its welcome, it may be lasting longer than we want it to last, it doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. Every season will change. That is a guarantee. It is bad right now for some of us. I won't say us because it's actually good for me right now. I already went through my seasons of disappointment. I already went through my seasons of confusion. I've already went through my seasons of wanting to jump ship and filing for divorce and ready to go my separate ways. I've already been through those seasons. And now I'm in a different season. Now I'm enjoying my husband. Now my husband's enjoying me. Now we like each other. Now we're friends. Now we're flirting. I'm in a different season of my marriage. And so I'm here to bear witness to you that you can be in a different season of your marriage as well. What you're going through right now is not a life sentence, even though it may be lasting longer than you want it to last. And even though it seems like there may not be an end in sight, the season will change. The season will change. So stop treating your temporary season as if it is a life sentence. That's number one. Number two, stop looking to God to be your rescue. Stop looking to him to be the superhero of the story. Allow him instead to be the source and to be the author of your story. A lot of times we get ourselves in a situation, or we find ourselves in a situation, and we do everything we can to get out of it. We do everything we can to try to change it. We do everything we can. We use all of our energy, we use all of our mental resources, all of our spiritual resources, trying to get this thing to change. And then when we've exhausted ourselves, we invite God in. Okay, God, I've tried everything I could think to try. Now I need you to take over. I've done everything that I can do humanly possible. Now I need you to come in and just do what you need to do, but I need to get out of this season. But what would things look like if we started with the source? How much different would our marriages be if we allowed God to be the author and just plugged us in as the cast? And he got to write the script. And he got to tell us which direction we should go. And he got to tell us what we should say and how we should respond and how we should interact and how the ending should be. How much more would we get out of our marriages if we allowed the creator of marriage to actually play the leading man in the marriage? God is the creator of this is the institution we call marriage. Why not allow him to take control of the story, your marital story? Why not allow him to tell you what you're supposed to do in each scene? Let him be the author. Humble yourself under his mighty hand. Not my will, Lord, but thy will be done. What would you have me to do? This is your son. How would you have me to interact with him? See, a lot of times we start telling God how he needs to parent his son. How many parents do we have out there? And how many parents would be absolutely offended if anyone came in trying to tell us how to raise our children? As if they know our children better than we know our children. As if they know, what direction we should go as a parent. But yet we tell God, God, you need to do this. God, I need you to do that. God, I need you to parent him this way. God, I need you to transform this. God, I need you to do this. And God is like, okay, that's my child. I don't need your inner input on how I should raise my child. I know what my child needs. I know what my child is feeling. I know what my child is thinking. I know what will get my child to respond. So instead of us trying to convince God on what we should do to effectively be a parent to his son, maybe we should allow God to be a parent to us and to teach us what direction we should go and how we should respond in certain situations. Not my will, Lord, but thy will be done. Because if you allow God to be the author, instead of waiting on him to be the rescue, instead of waiting on him to be the superhero of the story, then we will know that the ending will always be happily ever after. So that's another way that you can do it God's way. Number 3. Now, if you don't take anything away from this broadcast, then what I'm getting ready to tell you, you need to take this one, you need to marinate on it, you need to chew on it, you need to implement it immediately. Anyone who has followed me for any length of time knows that this is the number one way to get your husband to respond to you differently, to respond to you the way God wired him to respond, and to start transforming your marriage immediately. And that's this respect factor. I need you, God needs you, your husband needs you to respect your husband. And regardless of how the world teaches you, respect is not earned. Respect is given. He earned your respect when you agreed to take his last name. He earned your respect when you decided that you wanted to become his wife. You respect his position as your husband, even when you cannot respect his performance. You take all performance issues to the throne. But you respect him as your husband, period. And he doesn't have to earn your respect any more than you have to earn his love. Any more than you have to fight to earn his love, he doesn't have to fight to earn your respect. You respect his position as your husband, even if you don't respect his performance as a husband. And that's a critical, crucial element of this marriage partnership. If you don't get this right, and if you can't get it right, and if you can't adopt the mentality that you're going to respect your husband, you may as well walk away now. Walk away now. Because you will never have the type of relationship or marriage that you want. He will never be the type of man that he's supposed to be if you don't respect him. You can respect him into changing. You can respect him into transforming. You can respect him into becoming the man he was created and designed to be. This respect factor is huge for wives. And I wish I had learned it early. And that's not to say that I didn't learn it, because I knew it because we heard it in church, right? It's in the Bible. But I didn't sink my teeth into it. I didn't really get an understanding of it. I didn't realize the gravity of it. I didn't understand that that's how they were wired. And my husband said this recently on a class that we were teaching together. He had never said this before, and I never even thought about it. He said, men will do anything for respect, even if it's the wrong thing. Men will do anything for respect, even if it's the wrong thing. Now, we're not justifying bad behavior. We're just giving you an explanation as to why he may be acting the way he's acting. And the example that my husband gave, he said, if he gets more respect at work, he's going to spend more time at work. He's going to be, always thinking about work because he wants that respect. If he gets more respect in the streets, he's going to be spending more time in the streets because he wants that respect. Men will do anything for respect, even if it's the wrong thing. So that may be an explanation. But this is huge in transforming your relationship with your husband. Respect him, respect him, respect him, respect him, respect him. If you don't take anything else away from this webinar today, take that one and start walking it out. All right, ladies? So that was number 3. Number 4. Communicate with him in a way that draws him closer instead of pushing him further away. Learn to talk to your husband in a way that draws him in instead of speaking to him in a way that's going to push him away. And communication is more than just what you say verbally. It's your body language. It's your facial expressions. It's how you interact. It's how you respond. It's if you're rejecting him and his advances. Communicate in a way that's going to draw him in instead of pushing him further away. So respectful communication, loving, kindness. Y'all ever heard that term? You can get more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. Some of us are so foul, for lack of a better term, towards our husbands. And then we complain that he's not rising to the occasion. We complain that he's not who he needs to be as a man. But if you don't respect him, and then you're talking to him like he's something stuck on the bottom of your shoe, what do you expect? What do you expect? And if you're anything like me, I used to go for the jugular. I was going to win the war of words. I was going to go out at all costs for you to understand I'm not one to be toyed with verbally, because I was so hurt emotionally by his actions that I wanted to unleash my arsenal on him. I wanted him to feel the pain that he was inflicting upon me emotionally. I wanted him to feel that same pain. And so I would go for the jugular. I was always going to win. In a war of words, I was going to shut him down. And because I took that stance, I got that result. I wanted to shut him down. He shut all the way down. But wasn't that what I was going for? Wasn't that what I was going for? I was going to shut him down. But then when I got over it, I wanted to be all lovey-dovey, wanted us to be, you know, man and wife and all this other stuff. He was still shut down because I went for the jugular. Because I went for the jugular. So communicate with him in a way that draws him in instead of communicating in a way that pushes him further away. All right. So that was number 4. That was number 4, ladies. Number 5. Don't lose yourself trying to be his wife. And it's so much easier said than done. I get it. It is so much easier said than done because women are nurturers by nature. We take care of everybody. We put everybody's needs above our own. We want to make sure that, you know, we shield them from this big, bad, chaotic, evil world. And so we lose ourselves in the process. We lose ourselves in the process. And one day we wake up dissatisfied, not only with ourselves, but with our marriage and with our husbands and with the way life is going. It's because we didn't take the time to be intentional about investing in ourselves, in our own self-care, and putting ourselves at the top of our to-do list. You were created to be more than just his wife. And what I want you to hear from me is you were created as a woman first before you became a wife. And it's important that you nurture that woman. And it's important that you heal that woman. It's important that you understand what makes that woman happy and how she should move and how she should pursue her goals and how she should show up in the world as her best self. So don't lose yourself trying to be his wife. There is more to life than marriage and men, and God had to teach me that in therapy. Yes, the therapist had to go to therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with therapy, and I'll go again if I need to. There is more to life than just your marriage and your man. What nurtures you? What feeds your soul? What makes you happy? You need to spend time exploring that. And then you need to spend time making sure that you're nurturing that and that you're spending times in those activities and with those people that make you feel good, that put a smile on your face. Because if you're anything like me, you were so miserable in your marriage that you went to bed thinking about the issues, you woke up thinking about the issues, you spent all day long thinking about the issues, and you just continue to marinate in that misery, which resulted in marital hell. But if we have taken the time, and if we take the time to find out who we are as women and where we want to be in our lives and what direction we want to go, then we will be a lot more fulfilled in life as a whole. He can't be the center of our universe, period. He can't. Because you'll find yourself pouring, investing, and investing. And then you'll be so depleted. You don't have anything left to give this world. You don't have anything left for yourself. And I hear women all the time asking me, I've lost myself. I don't know how to find my way back. I don't know what I like anymore. I don't know what I should be doing as a wife. And that is part of the self-discovery. So don't lose yourself trying to be his wife. All right, ladies, we have any questions? If so, then just pop it in the chat, and if I can see it, I'll answer it for you. And give me just 1 second. Let me check Facebook to make sure I don't have any questions on there. Nope, don't see any. Okay, cool beans. So y'all still with me? All right, so let me just recap right quick. Stop treating temporary seasons as if they're life sentences, because seasons do change. Stop looking to God to be your rescue and your superhero, and instead let him be your source and the author of your love story in marriage. Number 3, respect your husband. And we respect his position as a husband, even when we cannot respect his performance as a husband. We take all performance issues to the throne. Number 4, communicate with him in a way that draws him in instead of communicating in a way that pushes him further away. We get more flies with honey than we can with vinegar. And number 5, don't lose yourself trying to be his wife, because there's more to life than just marriage and men. All right, moving on. And y'all saw that nail behind my head. It's okay. I haven't taken it out. Fight for your marriage God's way. Fight. If he's calling you to fight, then fight for your marriage and make sure you're fighting God's way. And God's way is not always fair. And I will guarantee you this, God's way is always uncomfortable. God's way will not seem fair, and it is always uncomfortable, because he's going to call you to do things, to say things, to act in a certain way that you don't want to do. One of the first things he had me do was apologize to my husband. But I didn't think I owed my husband an apology. I thought my husband owed me an apology. I thought he owed me several apologies. I thought he owed me gratitude and to worship me and to bow down himself before me for staying as long as I stayed. I didn't think he deserved me. So I certainly didn't think he deserved an apology from me. Talk about unfair. Talk about uncomfortable. I lost my identity. I have sacrificed. I have become a woman I don't recognize. I don't want to even be in this marriage. And you want me to go apologize to him, God? That calls for humility. And that calls for doing it God's way. Not my will, but thy will be done. Y'all remember that? Not my will, but thy will be done. I had a lot of those moments. But when we talk about allowing God to be the author and the source instead of the rescue, then we have to be committed to doing it God's way. He created marriage. He knows how this thing is supposed to unfold. He knows how this thing is supposed to go. So how dare I think that I know better than the creator of marriage? How dare I? And this is the advantage that you have in doing it God's way. God knows what's going on in the background with your husband. He knows things about your husband that you don't know. He knows how your husband feels. He knows how your husband thinks. He knows what's going to have your husband respond. He knows what's going to get your husband to change. So if you can commit to doing it God's way instead of your way, your chances of marital bliss increases exponentially, like through the roof. Like you doing it God's way, you're guaranteed a home run. But you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to go through those difficult times where it doesn't seem fair, when you feel like you're the sacrificial lamb, when you feel like, you know, you're giving it your all and your husband is getting away with murder. You got to be willing to do it God's way. And again, I stand before you as a witness. This stuff works, people. I'm not telling you something I read in a book. I'm not telling you something that one of my therapy clients has talked to me about over the last 15 years. I'm telling you something I walk through. I'm telling you something I experienced. I'm telling you firsthand knowledge as a therapist, but firsthand knowledge as a wife. I have been at the lowest points, begging God to let me divorce, begging God to let me leave. And God kept telling me I had to stay. And the thing that I keep saying is, what if I was disobedient to doing it God's way? I wouldn't be able to sit here before you to give you the hope that you need, to give you the strategy you need, to give you some more get up, to breathe some wind in your sails, to let you know it doesn't have to be marital hell. And you can get to your happily ever after a lot sooner than I got to mine if you would just do it God's way. I've already tested all of these theories. I've already walked it out for y'all, so y'all don't have to go test anything. Just do it the way I'm telling you to do it. I've already been there, done that, wrote several books on it, literally. Trust me in this, sis. I got you. I'm not going to let you be out there in the wilderness like the Israelites for 40 years. I got you. Let me show you how you're supposed to do this thing practically. And doing it practically means doing it God's way, even when it hurts, even when it's unfair, even when it's uncomfortable. And you can say all of those things to God. God, He is God. He can handle your honesty. Your husband may not be able to, but God can handle your honesty. And that's, times when I'm in the shower or in the car and I'm like, God, your son is a mess. He making me miserable. I don't like being here. He make me sick. God can handle all of that feedback. Your husband cannot. So get it off your chest, but vent to God, not to your husband, because there are some things that you may speak to him that your marriage will never recover from. All right. So do it God's way. That is number 6. And I told you all that I had 7 points, but I actually have 9 points. So if you stick around, I'll give you those last 2 points in just a little bit. But the 7th way that we can begin to improve our marriage right now, God's way, is to learn how to deal with challenges that would impact your marriage. Learn how to deal with those things so that they don't become a hindrance to your marriage or even make your marriage disintegrate. Y'all give me just a second. My light's about to fall off the table. Here we go. You need to learn how to maneuver marital challenges without allowing them to tear your marriage apart. Let me guarantee you this. Life happens to everybody, whether you're single or whether you're married. There is no reason to expect that marriage is going to cure anything, and there's no reason to expect that once you get married, you're never going to experience anything. That is just not how life works. But a lot of women, especially, will go into relationships, into marriages, thinking that love is going to conquer all. And as long as we love each other, we can get through anything. And once we get married, we're not going to have these type of problems. And that is just not true. My first year of marriage, 6 weeks after we were married, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I immediately lost my hearing in my left ear and the use of my left hand and arm for 2.5 months. I'm 28 years old. We're thinking, am I going to end up in a nursing home? I could barely walk. I could barely function. Yeah. Then he got laid off from his job. Then I got laid off from my job. Then we had a foreign exchange student that overstayed her welcome. Then we had an unexpected, devastating death in our family. That was all in the first 12 months of our marriage. Plus, I was discovering some things about him that I had no clue about. And we were co-workers first, and then we dated for almost 4 years before we got married. I thought I knew this dude. He thought he knew me. But we were discovering things about each other that we did not like whatsoever. That first year was absolute hell, to put it lightly. It was hell. That was the first time that I sought divorce. We went to counseling twice that first year. It was hell. And any one of those challenges could have destroyed our relationship. Any one of those challenges could have destroyed our marriage, and almost did. So it's very important that you understand life is going to continue to happen. And some things you're not going to be prepared to deal with. But if you can fortify the relationship, if you can strengthen the relationship as much as you can at every point in time, and learn to work through challenges together instead of looking at each other as if they're the cause and they're the enemy, then you can get the marriage that you want. You can improve it. Stop looking at your husband as if he's the enemy, even though he may be acting like one. He's really your life partner. And if you can change your mindset to see him as a life partner instead of a liability, your marriage has the ability to go further faster. So learning how to overcome and prevent some of these marital challenges is critical for the health and well-being of your marriage. So those are the 7 ways, and I have 2 more ways that I want to give you. But first, I wanted to just tell you what's next and where do we go from here. Now, Dee, that you've told us the ways to improve, but where do we go from now? I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know where to get started. I don't even know what my next practical steps would be. I hear what you're saying. All of this sounds good in theory, but how do we actually work this stuff out? How do we actually get the marriage that we want? How can we actually move from hopelessness and bitterness to happily ever after? How can we go from marital hell to marital bliss? How? I hear you saying it's possible. How do we do this? And so I want to tell you what my solution is. I've come up with this program based on all of the questions that I get on a daily basis in my DM and on emails from wives, because that's who's reaching out to me on how to do this. They're struggling, they're miserable, they're confused, they're ready to go. They don't want to do this anymore. So I came up with a program that I call the wife effect. The wife effect. Teach me how to be a godly wife. This is going to be a step-by-step course teaching wives how to build a strong marriage, teaching future wives how to build a strong marriage, forming deeper connections with their husbands, because why do we want to be married if we're not going to have a connection with our husband? Why do we want to be married if we're not going to have strong marriages? Our desire is to see your marriage look like this. That was the desire that we had for our marriage. That's the vision that we had for our marriage when we first got married. And we know that you had that same vision, or you have that vision for your future marriage. The wife effect is what we're offering to get you exactly what you have been praying for. So let me tell you what you can expect inside of the wife effect. These 8 weeks, we're going to talk about how to be a godly wife in a modern world, recognizing your power and influence as a wife to get the marriage you desire, how to effectively fight for your marriage, developing a personalized strategy to help save or transform your marriage, how to form real intimacy with your husband, unlocking the secret to your husband's deepest desires. That's the game changer right there. How to pray for your husband. We're going to develop an effective prayer life to protect your husband and marriage long term. How to communicate with your husband. This is going to be the communication strategy to get your husband to open up to you. How to help your husband become the man of your dreams. He's not going to get there on his own. So how can you help him? This is 4 foolproof ways to bring out your husband's best qualities. How to shield your marriage from common marital pitfalls, avoiding the top 9 marital mistakes that destroy marriages. How to be his wife without losing yourself, balancing your role as a wife with your desire to have your own identity. How to deal with marital challenges, 7 ways to prevent marital struggles from ruining your marriage. And then of course, we're going to talk about sex. We're going to have that sex talk, the hows, the do's, the do nots, and how to get it right in and out of the bedroom. Now, in addition to those 8 weeks, you're going to get 4 live Q&A sessions with me and my husband answering all of your relationship questions. Our desire with these 8 weeks and these 12 courses that you're going to have, because you're going to have 8 courses and then 4 live Q&A sessions, so that's 12 sessions with us. Our goal is to make sure you don't have to take any more courses. You don't have to go and hire any more coaches. if ever. Our goal, of course, is to make sure you don't have to do it, because we want to make this as comprehensive as possible. So we want to give you all the tools, all the strategies, all the prayers, everything we did to save our marriage. You have to remember, when the wife effect was introduced to me by God, and when he taught me what I needed to do to save my own marriage, it was the game-changing strategy. It was the marriage-changing strategy. So that's why it's so comprehensive. These are the topics that needed to be addressed in order to transform our marriage. And that is huge. That's huge. For lack of a better term, you need it to be as comprehensive, as real, as raw, as transparent as it needs to be, so that you can actually see the changes in your marriage. But I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to check out a couple of these testimonials. This was one that was just written a few days ago by someone who had taken one of our previous courses. She says, everyone, please take advantage of this opportunity and sign up. I took a 4-week marriage course with Dee and purchased 2 of her books, and the strategy and the prayer she provided saved my marriage. We canceled our divorce 4 hours before the judge was scheduled to finalize it. Do you understand how huge that is? A marriage was saved just because I started teaching her about the wife effect. A marriage, a family was saved from divorce just because she learned a new strategy. And I want to share from other testimonials from other women who have taken my other courses. Charity F says, it was an honor being in this class. It taught me so much about myself and helped me to change my perspective about my husband. In the beginning, when I first started the classes, I didn't see much hope, but now there's been a dramatic change in my husband, and I'm so grateful for Dee. Then just 3 weeks later, after the course ended, she says, thank you so much. We're going on our first date today in almost a year. He told me he's never divorcing me because he knows where home is. He's just trying to get himself together. You can share my testimony if you like. Thanks again for everything. Huge. Another family saved. Another divorce prevented. Jay Young says, initially I was skeptical. How could an online class taught by someone I've never met, piloted once a week, help me change my marriage? Well, let me tell you, when the first class began and the first instruction was given to me, I said to myself, looks like I was wrong. As the class continued, I saw that a lot of problems in my marriage were not exclusive to me. So many others faced similar adversity as well. But I realized I had the power to change them, and Dee had the tools to help me. There's so much truth in her words. It will be impossible to describe this course in one word, but some include empowering, liberating, insightful, and long overdue, just to name a few. I've already seen a change not only in myself, but in my spouse because of it. Thank you. Lastly, the words that I would use to describe this class are informative, therapeutic, and necessary. Dee provided a lot of good information. I was more receptive to the things she said because it came from someone who's already experienced the highs and lows of marriage firsthand. All of it confirms what I believe to be necessary for a marriage to survive. I'm enjoying being married to my husband of 15 years and pray that this course will help me become not only a better wife, but a better me as well. Thank you for sharing thus far. These are women who have taken my courses. These are the women who wanted to learn, wanted to save their marriage, wanted to transform things. And you see in their own words the effect that what I've taught them has had. And I want you to experience it as well. So I just want to sweeten the pot a little bit. I want to let you know what else you're going to get. For those who act right away, who are going to sign up, I'm going to give you immediate access to 3 of my most popular masterclass videos. One is overcoming conflict and communications issues in your marriage. The next one is how to forgive. Wives just don't know how to forgive. They don't know how to forgive. It keeps them stuck. It keeps them from moving on. And then lastly, restoring trust.
This is huge. You're not going to be able to get the marriage that you want if there's no forgiveness, if there's no communication, and if you cannot learn how to restore trust. In addition to that, you're going to become a part of an exclusive Facebook group where all of the members of the Wife Effect will have access to for more tips, more strategies, more me, more support, and more sisterhood and women who are ready to transform their marriage. And lastly, I want to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. That means I take all the risk. That's how confident I am that the Wife Effect is exactly what you've been praying about, exactly what you need. I'm willing to foot the risk for the first 30 days. If after 30 days you said, D, it's just not working, it's not what I thought it's going to be, I will gladly give you your money back. That's how confident I am in this program and what you're going to learn. So really, it's all on you. You have nothing to lose at this point. But if you're ready for the transformation that you've been praying about, if you're ready to get some of this in your life and some of this in your life and less of this, then go to thewifeeffect.com and sign up. We are ready to welcome you and ready to get this journey started in the next few days. So that's the Wife Effect.
All right. So the ball is in your court. I'm hoping that you'll join the other wives who have already made this commitment. As promised, I'm going to give you the 2 other tips and ways that you can improve your marriage right now God's way. But don't let this opportunity pass you by. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. I'm telling you, it is an investment. It is something, but you can't put a price tag on peace. There are some of you who have been waiting and praying for a solution, looking for something that's going to transition you from out of this marital chaos and situation that you're in. You have to ask God, why did you come across this message at this particular time in your life, in this season when you're the most desperate? When you're ready to learn, when you're ready to grow, when you're ready to do something different. There's something that has connected you to me and to this message. And you need to be very clear that it's time for you to move. It's time for you to shift. It's time for you to pivot. It's time to go after everything that God has promised you. All right. So tip number 8, help him grow. It is not good for man to be alone. So I will create a helpmeet for him. That's you, dear wife. That's you. You're the helpmeet. It is not good for man to be alone. I will create a helpmeet for him. If you're like me, I was like, well, God, he's your child. You help him grow up. You help him get healed. You help him get to the next level. Let me know when y'all done, then bring it back to me whole, healthy, and complete. But that was not God's original design. God said, I'm going to create a helpmeet for him because he's going to need help. He's going to need help growing spiritually. He's going to need help growing emotionally. He's going to need help being released from the bondage and the pressures that he has been under. He's going to really need help being healed from all of the emotional damage that has caused him to start acting this way. And that's why you are so valuable and important. That's why you're so influential. God created you that way. God created you to meet a need. God created you to help his son grow. And not only grow, but excel and to soar and surpass all human expectations of him. He's not going to be who he's supposed to be if you don't help him develop into what he's supposed to be. And that's going to require you to be committed, again, to doing it God's way. And then lastly, don't discount sex. I don't even think I said this in the first webinar, but don't discount the importance of sex, the importance of intimacy, the importance of seduction. All of those things draw you closer together. All of those things increase your feelings for each other. Closeness and oneness and intimacy in and out of the bedroom are vital. They are requirements. They are not suggestions. They are not. We don't use sex and intimacy and affection as tools or bargaining weapons or forms of punishment. That's not how we operate as godly women. That's how the world operates. Oh, well, he's not doing this. Well, then he's not going to get any for 2 days. No, that's not how we work. That's how the world works. Sex is a gift to your husband. Sex is a gift for you. And you don't get to withhold a gift that doesn't belong to you. Ooh, nobody wants to hear that. That's a gift that was given for marriage. And neither partner gets to use that as a bargaining chip or use it as a weapon, because all that's going to do is destroy the marriage and chip away at the marriage and the oneness. So come together often and come together in a way that is pleasurable for both. And come together, not only joining of the bodies, but joining of the minds, joining of the spirit. That's a way that you can improve your relationship right now. So again, the wife effect. It is the wife effect that makes the difference, ladies. It is the wife effect. That is the solution to what you have been looking for. That is the way to go. That is the way to be. That is the way to respond. That is the way to get you from point A to point B, from misery to bliss. But you have to sign up. We only have about 5 days left before enrollment closes. It may be the only time that you have us live, because I'm thinking about just making it a non-live type of class. So if you want it live, if you need it live, if you want the live Q&A, this is the time to sign up. It is time to stop debating. It is time to stop questioning. It is time to start investing. It's time to start doing something different. We need women who are going to be radical about their marriage. We need women who are going to be radical about who they are as a woman. We need women who are going to be radical about the kingdom of God and how he wants us to do things. We need women who are going to be radical in getting the changes that they desire. So I invite you again to the Wife Effect, thewifeeffect.com. We start class next Sunday, July the 7th. It's gonna be 7 p.m. Central Time. Replays will be available if you're unable to make it. But for 8 weeks, we're going to pour and invest and teach and coach and mentor. And you're not going to walk away with any marital questions. You're not going to walk away without solutions. You're not going to walk away without a plan. You're not going to walk away without strategy. You're not going to walk away without the tips that you need. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you're not going to ask for it because you're not going to want it. You're going to get so much information from this that you can apply over and over and over again. That's going to set your marriage up for long-term success. The offer is yours. I invite you to take advantage. I think we have 8 or 9 women who've already pushed the button on this. And we are going to be going full steam ahead. So I invite you again, thewifeeffect.com. Thank you again for joining me. I hope something I said was able to inspire you, help you, transform you, change you, and give you hope. But just understand that this is a face of a witness. This is a face of a witness who went from marital hell for many years to marital bliss. And I am here to make sure you don't have to go through marital hell and pain and struggling unnecessarily for years to come like I did. So I'm signing off. Thank you again for joining me. And I hope to see you in class at thewifeeffect.com and share with other women. These are wives. These are future wives. We're learning how to build deeper connections with our husbands. We're learning how to build strong marriages. So there may be a future wife who wants this information. Come on out. Learn this stuff now. So when you're married, You don't have to figure it out. You're going to already know how to do this thing. You're going to already know how to address challenges. You're going to already know how to fight. You're going to already know how to pray. You're going to already know about sex. You're going to already know about how to respect him. You're going to already know these things. So thewifeeffect.com. Thank you so much for joining me. You all have a good Saturday.